history in its English translation. It has been split into 3, 4, or 5 volumes at various points in its history. The 5-volume edition generally does not give titles to the smaller portions, but the others do. In the 3-volume edition, the novels are entitled The Vicomte de Bragelonne, Louise de la Vallière, and The Man in the Iron Mask. For the purposes of this e-text, I have chosen to split the novel as the 4-volume edition does, with these titles: The Vicomte de Bragelonne, 10 Years After, Louise de la Vallière, and The Man in the Iron Mask. In the first 2 e-texts, The Vicomte de Bragelonne, e-text 2609. It is the year 1660, and D'Artagnan, after 35 years of loyal service, has become disgusted with serving King Louis XIV, while the real power resides with Cardinal Mazarin, and has tendered his resignation. He embarks on his own project, that of restoring Charles II to the throne of England, and with the help of Athos succeeds, earning himself quite a fortune in the process. D'Artagnan returns to Paris to live the life of a rich citizen, and Athos, after negotiating the marriage of Philip, the king's brother, to Princess Henrietta of England, likewise retires to his own estate, La Fère. Meanwhile, Mazarin has finally died and left Louis to assume the reins of power, with the assistance of Monsieur Colbert, formerly Mazarin's trusted clerk. Colbert has an intense hatred for Monsieur Fouquet, the king's superintendent of finances, and has resolved to use any means necessary to bring about his fall. With the new rank of intendant bestowed on him by Louis, Colbert succeeds in having 2 of Fouquet's loyal friends tried and executed. He then brings to the king's attention that Fouquet is fortifying the island of Belle-Île-en-Mer, and could possibly be planning to use it as a base for some military operation against the king. Louis calls D'Artagnan out of retirement and sends him to investigate the island, promising him a tremendous salary and his long-promised promotion to captain of the Musketeers upon his return. At Belle-Île, D'Artagnan discovers that the engineer of the fortifications is, in fact, Porthos, now the Baron du Vallon, and that's not all. The blueprints for the island, although in Porthos's handwriting, show evidence of another script that has been erased, that of Aramis. D'Artagnan later discovers that Aramis has become the Bishop of Vannes, which is, coincidentally, a parish belonging to Monsieur Fouquet. Suspecting that D'Artagnan has arrived on the king's behalf to investigate, Aramis tricks D'Artagnan into wandering around Vannes in search of Porthos, and sends Porthos on an heroic ride back to Paris to warn Fouquet of the danger. Fouquet rushes to the king and gives him Belle-Île as a present, thus allaying any suspicion, and at the same time humiliating Colbert, just minutes before the usher announces someone else seeking an audience with the king. 10 years later, e-text 2681. As 1661 approaches, Princess Henrietta of England arrives for her marriage and throws the court of France into complete disorder. The jealousy of the Duke of Buckingham, who is in love with her, nearly occasions a war on the streets of Le Havre, thankfully prevented by Raoul's timely and tactful intervention. After the marriage, though, Monsieur Philip becomes horribly jealous of Buckingham and has him exiled. Before leaving, however, the Duke fights a duel with Monsieur de Wardes at Calais. De Wardes is a malicious and spiteful man, the sworn enemy of D'Artagnan, and by the same token, that of Athos, Aramis, Porthos, and Raoul as well. Both men are seriously wounded, and the Duke is taken back to England to recover. Raoul's friend, the Comte de Guiche, is the next to succumb to Henrietta's charms, and Monsieur obtains his exile as well, though de Guiche soon effects a reconciliation. But then the king's eye falls on Madame Henrietta during the Comte's absence, and this time Monsieur's jealousy has no recourse. Anne of Austria intervenes, and the king and his sister-in-law decide to pick a young lady with whom the king can pretend